This is Dan of Vagabond Awake. Today we're lucky to have Debbie. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
So, Debbie, where are we sitting right now? Where in the world are we?
We are in Tbilisi, in the country of Georgia.
Wow. And how long have you been here?
Since 2012.
2012.
I come for 9 months,
right?
Usually the academic year.
Okay.
And I leave in the summer and go home, see family and friends, and then I come back in September.
Wow, that's great. And come back from where? Where are you from?
I'm from Maine,
okay,
way up north.
All right. And in the summers, you're in Maine? Is that what I mean?
Oh, that's the only place to be in the summer.
Of course. Yeah, you don't want to be in Maine in the winter, right?
No, I don't. No longer.
You're very smart. So that's a really long time. 2010, did you say?
2012.
12. So it's, you're like 12 years here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was 18 months in America during COVID. I mean, we all kind of lost 2 years in COVID.
Yeah.
So it just took me a while to get back.
Okay. How did you end up living here? How did you pick this place?
Well, I was going in the Peace Corps and turned them down because they wanted to send me to Asia or Africa. Right. And I said, what about the heat? Don't you understand? You haven't seen me function in heat. I don't function. So, and I'd put on my application, Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe. So when I researched it for 3 months, and I decided not to teach English, and decided I actually could be useful in Tbilisi, but I'm a teacher of babies with disabilities. It has nothing to do with English.
Okay, okay.
So
is this like volunteer work, or is it paid?
Yeah, I volunteered.
Oh, okay.
So my Social Security and my teacher pension enable me to come here and volunteer. Wow,
that's great. So one of the things we hear from retirees, whether they're in the U.S. or they move overseas, is after like the first or second year of retirement, they kind of wish they had some purpose. So you found that purpose.
Yeah, before I came.
That's
well, I was retired earlier than I wanted to be retired.
Okay.
And you know, I just wanted to keep working.
Right.
You know, I mean, I ended up, as so many, in administration, and I really wanted to get back to just working with the little people. And so, I mean, I knew I could be useful in a lot of ways.
Right.
So.
And you found a home. That's great.
Yeah, and I just had a wonderful time.
One of the reasons I mean, there's many reasons I've heard people move to Georgia, but one of them seems to be the cost of living here is more reasonable maybe than Maine or Europe or
definitely.
So what would you say in an average month that your overall cost of living is here?
Oh, I'll have to do the math again. I only know what I spend in or did I do it by the month? 9. Yeah, it's under $1,000. It came out to $937.
So that's roughly
for everything.
For everything.
Everything.
Everything, like food, accommodations, transportation.
And what I did first was I looked in my account to see how much I've saved. And so I subtracted that. So I saved in this 9 months, well, it's been 8 months, $5,000.
Okay.
Because I need extra money this one. My ticket's going to cost more this year.
Right.
Because I fly back and forth.
Yeah.
And I buy my own ticket. So I buy a round trip ticket.
Well, that's great. So you're some people certainly in Canada are called snowbirds because they'll fly south for the winter. And you
fly several of those.
Okay. And you fly south for 9 months of the year, though.
Right.
Is it south? No, it's
well, it's warmer here. So in Tbilisi, you can see the snow all around you. Occasionally, it snows here, and occasionally, I don't know, every 5 to 7 years, they actually get enough snow that they had to deal with it.
So as a snowbird, if you figured out it was 900 something per month, 937, is that what you said? And then you save 5,000.
Right.
And that 5,000 you spend in the 3 months?
I do.
And you're in the
Every
US.
penny of it.
So it's
so expensive.
So it's almost half as your US costs of living here. And are you paying rent when you're in the US, or are you staying with friends?
No, I'm not. And that's without rent.
Without rent.
That's without
You're
rent.
paying almost double your cost of
It's
living
just
there.
gas and food and presents and birthdays and barbecues and things. And you go out. It's summer in Maine. You go have lobster and you go get burgers and
you're on the beach and whatever.
Yeah, you're just
Maine.
Going. You're camping and I mean, and even camping is on my budget. Some camping is expensive.
Right.
I mostly only go to state parks, but even in Maine, like our national park, it's like $37 a night. Yeah, people in America don't get that. They don't get it a lot. It's but it's like, don't you need a car? I said, well, no. The trains are great. There's one line that goes to Zugdidi that still has an older train on it. But if you take the early Zugdidi bus, it's the nicer train. Okay. I found out too late.
Yeah, it seems like when you stand on a corner, a bus goes by every 5 minutes here.
They do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And two kinds of buses. And I buy like a 6-month ticket and then a 3-month one. And so you have the feeling that it's free because it's already been paid up ahead.
How much is a 6-monther? Do you remember? Or 3-monther, either one.
I think it was like 200 and something 𝐺𝑝.
Okay. So it's whatever, $50. Yeah. And that's for 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
If you would like to learn how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 16 years and how I pay for things, grab a free copy of my ebook. We get people that are interested in this lifestyle you have where they move somewhere, relatively cheap and they come back and visit family once a year or once every other year. And you've been doing that for quite some time. And in your example, if you add the two up, what is your 9-month here and your 3 months in the U.S.? What per year? What is that roughly? If you
I don't know. I didn't do that math.
You saved. Let's do it quick. So you said you saved $5,000, right? Right,
and I have about $1,800 in between my pension and my Social Security.
Yeah, so 1,800's around 2,000, so 24,000 a year minus whatever.
I think my tax says 23.
Okay, okay.
Which I make so little I don't usually have to do, but we had to get some money back, and we had to file in order to get the money back in COVID.
Yeah, of course.
So my nephew did it for me on some turbo something or other.
Yeah, so around 18,000 after taxes you're living on in both places.
Yeah.
That's great. And that would be tough to do if you just stayed all year long in the U.S.
Yeah, I don't have a U.S. plan, I'll tell you. I always thought, well, I'll just go to Florida and live in a trailer. I have friends down there. They want me to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lifelong, 50 years we've known each other. But I don't know. I don't even know. They say the rent's even in Florida. The insurance, they say, is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. The property insurance there's getting dropped even.
Well, the car insurance.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many old people getting in so many accidents. I think that's what's inflating it. I assume.
Yeah, who knows?
It's not a good place to be a car insurer.
No.
What are the chances that?
Yeah, it's either going to get flooded.
The old 85-year-old's going to get in an accident.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's a huge benefit. So tell us a little bit about. What does safety feel like to you? Do you feel safe there?
Oh, Lord, yes. Very safe. Safer than I do in Maine.
Yeah,
all of my female friends about my age, in their 70s, we walk all over. I know that I saw on the map, because I Googled it, because I know there's a drug problem here.
Right.
But you don't see it.
Right.
I see it when I photograph places where people don't go, like the back alleys and during the day. So when it looks relatively safe and they're all asleep, and railroad tracks, and sometimes it's just a photograph, the old graffiti that's there.
Yeah.
But there are needles on the ground.
Right.
So that there are at 3 a.m. you wouldn't want to be there.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not sure at 3 a.m. I've never walked through any part at 3 a.m.
Right.
But all of my friends report that it is safe. Most of them are from the Peace Corps, actually. All of the women that I have known here have been ex-Peace Corps people.
Right.
So, Yeah, but I mean, we all feel safe.
What are your thoughts about healthcare? Do you carry insurance? Do you think the hospitals are reasonable here? What's your view of that? Or your thoughts
I think the hospitals are very reasonable, and the care that I've had has been really good. I had a scare with my eyes. I woke up and I had never had, what do they call them, spiders or floaters?
Floaties, yeah.
Yeah. I'd never heard of it before. Didn't know what it was. Was like, oh my God. So I Googled it. And they said, go to the doctor. It might be nothing, but it could be something.
Right, right.
And so it was something, actually. There were two unrelated things. It was just serendipitous that I went and they found that I had a hemorrhage in the back of my eye.
Oh, wow.
Very serious.
Wow, wow.
But I also researched that and read this study, and they said, if it's non-symptomatic, and that's what I had. I said, and they were like these three experts having a debate about what to do.
Right.
And so I gave it to my Georgian doctors, blah, blah, blah. And so they all concurred and said, yes, let's look at her in 3 months. When she gets back to America, we'll see how it looks.
Okay.
But they did thorough exams, you know, where you see your eyeball and all that.
MRIs or whatever,
Yeah.
sonograms, that kind of stuff. Okay.
And they had a translator. So
Okay.
I knew what the report said.
Okay.
They had an English-speaking doctor.
Okay.
Every place you go, you can find an English-speaking doctor. You go to the bank, you go to the pharmacy. They just call the English speaker.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So that was my experience. Now other people have had less good experiences.
Okay.
And prior to the time I got to that research hospital, I was sent to a Georgian doctor who wanted me to take injections. They're really big on injections.
Okay.
And I said, no. I said, you see, no pierced ears. No, don't do that. And I don't know what's in it. You can't explain to me. Why would I do this?
Yeah, yeah. So you went and got a second opinion.
Right, and she was recommended by, you know, a professional group, and it was like, no. And I asked my doctor later, and they said, no, that's like a really old Soviet thing. We don't treat it that way anymore. You know, so some of the doctors, depending on their age and where they're working, can be old Soviet-trained doctors who are going to recommend things that seem a little peculiar to Americans.
Okay, okay.
So I would do your homework and go to a hospital, and you can call up. They've got everything, every doctor, the languages he speaks,
oh, wow.
and where he was trained.
Okay.
And all of the training, right down to the little conferences they've gone to.
Okay.
So you know before you get there that that the eye doctor, like Michael, where he studied, he was fluent in English, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know.
So what did all that cost, roughly?
Oh, back then, I think that was like 10 years ago. But I don't know what it would be now, but it was, let me think. I remember I was just stunned. 2 days, because they sent me back. They wanted to do my other eye just to check it out.
Okay.
And the total thing was 75 𝗲.
𝗲? Wow.
Yes, and that's with all those fancy machines.
That's like $25, less than $25.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been $1,000 in America.
Oh, just one of those machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like, really?
So do you also sign up for Medicare? Do you have US for when you're there in the summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
And that's
so I go see my doctor every summer. I have an appointment on June 26th.
Okay, okay. Wow, so you're getting extra care in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other expats you know here,
mm-hmm.
Are they living on about the same amount of money? Are they some of them more? Or are they able to live on that kind of money?
Some, I know one woman, she made a little less, and some have more. It depends on if they were married, and you know, if their husband passed away and he had good, whatever you have, you know, they have a little bit more money.
Right.
But some of them don't. They only have the Social Security, and most of them all work. They're professionals in America, you know. But as I said, they're teachers, social workers, psychologists, and like many women, they perhaps our age didn't work their whole lives.
Right, right.
You know, they
Raised
stayed
kids
home.
first.
They raised, depending on again what their husband was doing and where they were living.
Right, of course.
So they come here with various amounts of money, and some of them continue to work. You know, so
They work online, or they work on jobs here?
No, they work for agencies here.
Okay.
You know, if they can speak, some can speak Russian, or they learned it, or they were here in the Peace Corps. Most of them weren't able to learn Georgian fluently.
Okay.
But there are many American, like there's the American, there's lots of American NGOs here, and depending on what your field is, like this one person who, she had 3 doctorates. I think one was in psychology, and she did testing for, what did she do it for? I can't remember who she was working for, but it was an American place.
Okay.
And so that supplemented her income.
So what do you feel is there something here that's surprisingly better or surprisingly worse than back in Maine?
You know, it's America. We don't have public transportation.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. There isn't a place you can't get to in Georgia.
What sort of visas have you had here? Is it true that most of the expats you meet here, they fly and get the 1-year exemption when they arrive, right? I mean, you can stay here 1 year.
I never have a visa. Yeah, because I leave every 9 months.
And you leave every 9 months.
They just stamp it, and
do others do border runs, or how do they, if they want to stay permanently here, do other expats?
Oh, they probably apply for a residency, which is just too much of a bother for me.
Okay.
I mean, most people love it, and many of us stay.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a wonderful country.
So, are you happy here?
Yeah. I really like it. I'm happy most of the time, so yeah. I just bring my happiness with me. It travels around.
That's a good way to live. If you can figure that one out, you figure out all of it.
But I mean, it's easy to live here, and so I live close to a really convenient square. It's like I don't have to go, 150 yards, and there are 2 pharmacies. There's a wonderful bread man who makes the best lobiani in Tbilisi, I think. The meat man's across the street. There are 2 little old ladies that are in the dollar store, sort of, the everything store. And then there's the ATM and the coffee lady and the money exchange and 2 little markets and all kinds of vegetable ladies everywhere. It's in some ways, I guess, very European, because you can go out with your bag and shop for the day.
Yeah.
And then, because I do that. You don't have one great big carload of groceries and 10 grocery bags lugging into the house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a different way
of life. You shop for that day and get fresh food and decide what you're going to eat. It's a great way of life.
So.
Well, Debbie, thanks for coming on the channel and sharing your story with us. It's a great story, and I'm sure it'll help other people visualize what's possible for them. So
anything's possible in Tbilisi.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Come as soon as you can.
We're here.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your stay.
Could you please help me with something? You've probably watched our guest star interviews on our guest star playlist. I interview people that have retired overseas. They share valuable information such as cost of living, safety concerns, finding love overseas, healthcare experiences, and money problems. If you'd like to share something that you have learned living overseas, please come to vagabondbuddha.com, click the More tab, click the Contact Me tab, and tell me about what you would like to share with my channel.